Boston University's Center for Psychiatric Rehabilitation's goal is to connect our viewers with supportive resources in the community and to help individuals enhance their career development and overall well-being. Everyone can be successful with the right support.
In the last ditch, I think of you.
Good afternoon and welcome to Employment for All. My name is Kimberly Bissett and I'm here to help you get a job, change jobs, or advance in the job you currently have. Here at Employment for All, we believe that everyone can be successful with the right supports. We'd like to bring you different resources every week to help you establish yourself in your career, advance your career, or develop your resources within the community. And today is no exception. Welcome, Andrew Winig.
Thank you, Kim.
You are the president of Improv, Andy.
Yes.
And a valued and reoccurring guest here on Employment for All.
It's great to be back.
We're happy to have you again. Welcome.
Thank you.
So for the people who haven't had the privilege of seeing you on the show before, let's do our traditional, tell us about yourself.
Sure, thanks, Kim. Well, the work that I do that I'm really the happiest about is working with people to clean up their elevator pitch, to be very clear about what it is that they do. And this works both in business and for people who are interviewing for jobs. In fact, I was working with someone the other day who came to me and said, you know, I'm a sysadmin. And I said, okay, but there's so many people like that.
Right.
And after working with her a little bit, we came to this point where she had worked on the server farm and had put together the uptime requirements, and that there was all this cool stuff she had done that really set her apart. And so the work that I do is to help you get your message across, to show why you're different. And so for anybody who's ever struggled, trying to show why they were different or struggled to get their message across, I have this great 2-hour process that really helps with that.
Fantastic, because so many people, when they get an interview, you think they've never heard the question. I mean, it's the dreaded question, tell me about yourself.
Right.
And people act like they've never heard it before in their lives. Even
Right.
people who've sat in my classes like, I have a dog, I live in West Roxbury, like
Exactly.
they just don't know what to say. And even if
Yeah.
you practice it, there's something about that. So you
Right.
really need to practice it and practice it some more, and you really need some feedback, because trying to create your own story is very difficult.
Right, and what people don't realize is that when you're saying things out loud, it sounds different to you than when you're practicing it in your head. So a lot of people don't even practice correctly, right? You need someone to actually ask you the question and then be forced to answer in some way where you can't take it back, right?
Right.
You either run a video recorder or a digital voice recorder, something like that. But really practice under those kinds of conditions. And when I work with people on this, they always run aground. They start talking like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I'm like, right, that's why we're practicing, right? So now you get a chance to try it again and just get comfortable saying it out loud in order, and that really helps. That really helps relax people and make you make a better impression.
Absolutely. Like, I talk with a lot of people and they say, oh, I love to answer that on the fly. A lot of students, that's a big student response. Oh, I'm going to answer that on the fly. And I said, does that work for you in life?
It seems like a lot to leave to chance.
Yeah,
that's what I tell
absolutely.
people, right? I mean, your career's on the line, or this next sale you're making. You're in front of your next big customer, and you want to leave that to chance. Like,
yeah.
that really never made sense to me. Like,
No.
why wouldn't you? No, nobody would go into a presentation without
No.
preparing for it, right? Nobody would, and people practice. Our sports teams, they
Yeah.
practice and practice and practice for game day,
Yeah.
and yet somehow, on the game day of your interview, people haven't practiced. It's amazing.
It doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm up for my dream job interview. Well, who
Right.
have you interviewed with? Have you done the informational interviews to
Right.
practice? Have you sat down with anyone and explained yourself?
Right.
No, it doesn't connect.
amazing. Yeah.
I was on a softball team, and we never practiced. We were only, we just started out, and it was my first time on a softball team, and we were like, why are we last in the league? I have no idea. Like, no one could get it together to practice. And then the next year we were like, okay, let's practice. We really have to do it. Like, every Wednesday night. And lo and behold, we, won some games. It's not rocket science, but you need to put some time and energy behind it.
Well, and people know, like in softball, people understand the rules, right?
Yes.
There's kind of a set of there's a set of things you can do to practice, and that's what I love doing with people, is showing them the things that you can practice. Because if you're practicing for an interview or practicing for your elevator pitch, there are the same sort of things that you can practice. There are pieces to it and skills of it, and you can work through all those different skills and practice all those skills. And people just haven't been taught, right? I mean, it's not, in softball we all know the rules and everything,
Right.
and nobody's really been taught the rules about the elevator pitch or the interview.
Absolutely, and that's a great analogy. And another one that comes to mind is a personal fitness trainer. Now, I used to work on my back, and hopefully my viewers have seen my back, my posture improve a little bit over these 122, I think, episodes.
Yep.
But I started to work with a trainer, and my results increased exponentially.
Sure.
Because I was trying to do it on my own, kind of sit up straighter on my own and those kind of things. And it just didn't make sense. I couldn't do it on my own. And I started to work with a trainer, and I work with a trainer at the YMCA, and she's amazing. But she can watch me, and she says, well, you know what? Do this sit up this way. You're not doing it correctly. Or, use this machine this way and position your hands this way. And varies up the routine. And I love the YMCA because not only if I don't go, they send kids to camp, but it's very affordable, and it's an investment in ourselves. Like we go and we don't go out to dinner one night a week, and we go to the Y instead. And maybe it's a dinner out, maybe it's a takeout night too. But the amount of progress that we've made in such a shorter amount of time, I would have to do probably 4 times the amount of sit-ups to get the same result. So it's an expert showing you.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing is that if you're watching someone present, you probably have a pretty good idea of what they're getting wrong.
Yes.
Right? You can say that, and most people are that way, right? If you watch someone, and the problem is that you're not able to watch yourself.
Yes.
And so the reason that nobody likes to watch themselves on video is that they don't like what they see.
Exactly.
Except that that's the way you learn, right? Yes. And so what I tell people a lot too is that if you really want to practice interviewing, run a video, right? I mean, you borrow a friend's video camera, right? I mean, you won't need to do it many times, but video yourself doing it and then take a look at it, and you can critique yourself just fine, right? It's just that most people don't have the guts to actually watch themselves. And again, if you don't want to watch it, why would the interviewer want to, right? I mean, this is what you're presenting, so it's really important.
It's extremely important, really, to get that feedback, and however you get it. So there are a couple different ways, because we are Employment for All, so we want to talk about all the different ways.
Sure.
One is to do informational interviewing.
Yep.
Go and interview someone who you're interested in the field. You want to get into marketing? Find someone who will talk to you in marketing.
Sure.
8 out of 10 people will talk to you. Hi, I really love what you do, and I want to hear more about your job.
Right, yeah.
People sit up even straighter. Yes, I'd love to talk to you about.
Without the trainer, right.
Exactly. And they're excited to talk with you. And then you ask for honest feedback. What'd you like about this answer? Thank you very much for meeting with me. Are there suggestions you have? And sometimes they give suggestions in the interview.
Yeah.
But far too many people wait, and they don't use those resources, and then they make the mistakes in the interview. Wow, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. And it takes so much longer.
Right.
Or you can go with someone who, you might know someone in HR, you might know someone who's good at interviewing, or you just love the way they tell stories. I mean, some people tell stories and you're on the edge of your seat. What's next? What's next? And other people tell stories and you're on the edge of your hands, like, when are they going to finish? I've got to go to eat now. So it's very different. If you know a great storyteller, sit down with them and have them. Or go to someone who's an expert at it.
Right.
It's very interesting to me. You can really, if you can get into a job quicker, it's such an investment to sit with a career coach, to sit with an expert like yourself in terms of interviewing skills. Because if you can get that job 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months earlier, why wouldn't you do it?
Well, and a lot of people don't realize that with coaching you can get a higher salary as well. People don't realize that you can start sooner and you can have a higher salary, and it's a great investment, right? Working on this kind of stuff is a great investment, and no one sees it that way, right? They don't see it that way.
Yeah, and that's why, you got to invest in yourself. You've really got to take the time. Like every time I go to the gym with a trainer, I'm like, this is an investment in myself. I'm learning more. Because I am my own kind of, if you had I think of myself as my own $1 million racehorse. I read it from some book, and I was like, wow, you have to take care of yourself first, and you have to always be thinking about your career development and where you're going. How do you kind of advance? How do you think about what skills am I missing, and how do I go forward with those?
Exactly.
And taking the time to be coached on them just saves time and really gets you further faster.
Yep, it's very true. Very true.
And that's the concept behind peer mentoring. We talk a lot here on Employment for All about peer mentoring. Finding a coach, it can either be a natural support within your community, it could be a peer provider, it could be a peer support, but it can be anywhere up to expert and all in between. It's good to sit down with someone who's also in the same job search mode that you are, and kind of build support that way. Well, what did you try in the interview? What did I try? Okay, who helped you? How could you move forward? And give each other support that way.